You're watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Homestead-Miami Speedway. I'm Carl Henderson, and this is Ghostfire Media's broadcast of the AOLL Sportsman Series. This is the final race of the round of 12. 6 drivers are going to advance tonight. 6 will be left behind as they are battling for a championship. So let's take a look at our race info. This is your typical mile-and-a-half track here. One thing we're going to keep an eye out for, though, are track temperatures. Right now, they are not so bad, but when I ran practice here with these guys Monday night, it was a little bit warmer and it was slick. So they're going to keep an eye on that. But also desperation here is another thing to watch out for, because there are some guys who are kind of hurting in points right now, and I'm sure would really love to advance to the next round. So we might see some crazy strategies here tonight before all is said and done. But with that said, let's take a look at qualifying already in progress. And we'll go ahead and focus on Mr. Blake Gordon here, who is on his second lap right now, currently sitting third on the board. Currently on top of the board, we have Justin Anderson, as the scoreboard is all messed up there. I'm not sure what's going on there. But yeah, Justin Anderson currently sitting on top of the board. Josh Laston sitting in second right now. Now third, just got pushed down by Blake Gordon. And his second lap was not fast enough, but he and Blake actually had equivalent times. So that's pretty impressive qualifying effort by Josh Laston. Take a look here at Brian McFerrin out on the track, also a playoff contender. He is currently qualified 5th, although he just got bumped down to 6th, as Chris Passini has moved up and taken the 2nd spot. So Chris Passini currently sitting in 2nd. And so I am looking here, I'm looking for playoff drivers. How about Mr. Adam Wood? Said that he is running a bright truck this week, so hopefully people will see him and not hit him. And we're hoping the same thing, Adam. We know you've had a string of bad luck, so hoping you'll get to finish this race. As Brandon Bernhardt just set the 3rd fastest time. That's another playoff driver. So really good time for Brandon, although Chris Passini just jumped ahead of him. So those guys kind of shuffled there for a little bit. Joe Dinsmore on his 2nd lap currently scored 8th. So with that being said, before we kick over to the grid, I want to take a look here at some of our points. Take a look at our point standings here as they are, and you'll see them here in the bottom right. Justin Anderson, Blake Gordon, of course, guaranteed to advance due to their wins. Brian McFerrin in 3rd, pretty safe position. Brandon Bernhardt not in bad shape either, with 3,277 points. Guys that had to be a little concerned right now in the bubble: Joe Dinsmore, Josh Laston, Chris Passini, Andrew Burgess. Mike Burgess not really out of it yet. Adam Wood really not out of this yet either. Those 6 guys really close right there. Dan Shirley, who I believe is not in this race, and William Klingball, who I don't think is in either, are currently well outside the bubble. I'm going to assume since they're not here, they're not going to advance unless something's crazy happens. So really, it's those 4 guys under the bubble right now, and really, so it's really 5th through 10th that I think we're going to really have to keep an eye on. And we're going to try out this live standings thing throughout the night, and we're going to see if those points will be able to update live. I believe we've got it set up so they should, so we'll give it a shot tonight, because I think it'll be really great to be able to see where the drivers are as the race is going on. So we should be getting ready here to grid up very shortly in about 5 more seconds. And we will run through the starting lineup. All right, and here's your grid. Starting in first, Justin Anderson. In second, Adam Wood. Third is Chris Bassini. In fourth, Brandon Bernhardt. Fifth, Blake Gordon. And in sixth, Josh Laston. As indicated by those gold colors, the top 6 right there are all playoff contenders. Then 7th and 8th, we have 2 guys who are not in the playoffs, Justin Rodden and Joshua Hanner. In 9th, we have Joe Dinsmore. In 10th, Brian McFerrin. And in 11th, Andrew Burgess. 12th is Cody Mitchell. 13th, Blake Zeedy. 14th is Kevin Moeller. And in 15th, Ed Springer. 16th is Teddy Weichel. And in 17th, Kevin Haas. 18th is Ross Gage. And in 19th, Randy Pepper. 20th is Richard Hurst, and in 21st, John Gordon. 22nd, Mike Burgess, and in 23rd, Dan Witt. 24th is Gael Brooks, and in 25th, David Naughton. 26th is Marshall Hall, and rounding out the field in 27th, Timothy St. Jean. So with the exception of Mike Burgess, that's putting all of our chase contenders in the top 11. So I think things are going to get a little spicy out there tonight. I can't wait to see how it's going to play out here. So we are gridding up here, and it'll be Adam Wood and Justin Anderson bringing our field to green when we get going. And I don't know about you folks, but I am extremely excited about this. Outside of the championship race in the Sportsman Series, I think this is as big as it's going to get. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there who have ran exceptionally good seasons this year, and one entire year of racing could be coming down to this race right here. There are some guys that need to just have good finishes, but then there are some guys who desperately need a win. So I'm excited to see where that desperation plays out, because I think when you have some guys who are being very conservative and trying to avoid losing the race, and you get some other guys who are desperate to get a win to guarantee advancement, that's when things get really exciting. So they are peeling off the pit road right now, and they are gridding up on the back stretch here as the pace car leads them into turn 3. And we will be racing here shortly. Got someone there that is blinking in and out. I believe that's the 77 of Andrew Burgess. So our pace car is going to pull off here. And as usual, they go on the green flag, and the green flag's out. And Adam Wood had an awful start there. Checked up the field. Justin Anderson, though, beautiful. Chris Bassini right behind him, and Blake Gordon and Justin Rodden there as well. I'm not sure. Maybe Adam spun his tires there. Oh, Chris Bassini has some issues. Gets a little bit loose there. He's going to lose some spots, but he's able to hold it. So overall, we're going, and that was relatively problem-free, which honestly, with this slick track, I was expecting it to be a little bit more hectic. But they're riding really good. We got someone coming on the pit road, it looks like. That was Ross Gage entering the pits. Not sure if he perhaps had some damage there. But our leader through all of that, Justin Anderson, making it look easy. But that being said, Blake Gordon taking a little peek. He's thinking about going. And, we've seen these two guys battle it out over and over, both across the Cup Series and the Sportsman Series. And just realized our ticker isn't pulled up. I apologize for that. But we've seen these guys battle it out in like every series they run in together. And tonight, no different. These guys are, going at it still. And, I expect things to play out like they normally do, right? Justin Anderson's going to do short pit at some point. Blake Gordon's going to stay out a little bit longer. Blake will have a caution that'll come out and help him. And then Justin will lose the race. But let's give our live point standings a try here. This is something new we've got here, that it's going to tell you where everybody's standing in the points as they are currently running. So as you can see, it's showing Justin Anderson with 2 wins. He does not have 2 wins yet, but if the race were to finish right now, he'd have 2 wins. And we can see Chris Bassini is going to shuffle up into 6th, and that's going to bump Josh Laston out. That's where we're standing right now. Not a lot of shakeups, but I think as this race goes on, and a little bit of a shift there is Josh Laston. It said actually moved ahead of Chris Bassini. I'm actually not sure if that's accurate. Maybe a bug in the system still. So still some things to work out there, possibly. So yeah, I'm going to try to find us a good battle here. How about Justin Rodden, Adam Wood, and Chris Bassini? That looks like a really fun battle right there. And actually, throughout the field, we've got guys lined up and racing. It's some really good racing right now. I'm actually surprised by this. In the practice laps I ran, this track was relatively challenging for a mile and a half. And usually that's going to not produce as good of racing because the guys are going to be a little bit more conservative. But someone tags the wall a little bit there. But yeah, these guys are looking really really good right now. So glad to see some good racing here throughout the field. And let's how about this? Let's take a look at Josh Laston back here, trying to make a move on Joe Dinsmore and Brendan Bernhardt right there as well. Blake Ziti right behind him, but those 3 guys right there in the front, Brendan Bernhardt, Joe Dinsmore, Josh Laston, all playoff contenders. So these are guys that are racing hard right now to try to advance in the points. And looks like we've got Ross Gage on pit road again, I think. He may have disconnected, I'm not sure. Actually, it looks like he's coming back out. Ross having a rough night tonight. How about this? Dan Witt back here trailing behind John Gordon, Cody Mitchell, Teddy Weichel. And, of course, I got to make sure I get some time on Cody Mitchell. I know he always has a large fan base out there. Had a rough week last week, so we'll see if he can do a little bit better this week. Currently running in 19th, but as long as he can keep things clean. Looks like he has a little bit of damage on that front end, but it doesn't look too bad. Just got to keep it clean, finish the race, and you never know what might happen. And hey, how about here? Timothy St. Jean moving around Richard Hurst there. That is for 24th position. But I'm going to go back up to our front right now as Justin Anderson, Adam Wood, and Chris Bassini still battling it out. And it looks like Brandon Bernhardt has caught up with these guys as they're trying to, they get side by side. It's going to slow all of them down. So Brandon Bernhardt trying to take advantage of that and move up the field as well. but, you know, Chris Bassini had that issue early on where I'm not sure if he hit the apron or what, but I got a little bit loose and lost some positions. He's fighting back right now, currently running in fourth. He's one of those guys that is outside of the bubble, but does not necessarily need a win to advance. And as I mentioned earlier, someone like Brandon Bernhardt here, currently running in fifth, also definitely does not need a win. He is very solid in the points right now. What he really needs to do is avoid getting caught up in something that's going to end his night early. So we'll be keeping an eye on those guys quite a bit tonight as they are on the bubble, and pull up our standings here one more time, see if they're working a little better. And that looks like it might be pretty close to correct. Nope, something's wrong there. Sorry about that, folks. We're going to get that one of these days. I think it'll be correct at the end of the race. But our leader is still Justin Anderson. You know, it looked like Blake Gordon was going to put some pressure on him there for a little bit, but he's backed off, and yeah, not having much of an issue right now. I'd imagine both these guys, with the gap they have over Chris Bassini right now, which isn't huge, but it's about a second. I'm assuming these guys are taking it easy right now a little bit and not pushing the issue too much, and trying to ensure they're going to get to the end of this race, because, you know, they're both guaranteed to advance, but I'm sure both of them would love a win in order to get those bonus points for the next round. So with that said, I'm going to stop talking here for a minute. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a break from my voice, and we're going to turn it up. All right, and we are back. And we still, you know, not a lot of shakeup through the field, as you know, we've still got Justin Anderson leading, and it's actually looks like he's pulling away from second place Blake Gordon a little bit. And those guys have definitely put a gap on third place Chris Bassini. It was about a second when we last looked at him, and we are currently sitting at about 2 seconds now. So those guys certainly looking like the class of the field at this point. We're going to make one more attempt to look at the live points, see if they're looking a little more correct. That is more what I was expecting to see. As expected, Chris Bassini currently running ahead of Josh Laston. Nope, it just broke again. So it looks like it's going to work for a little bit and then break. So hopefully by the end of the race, we'll be able to share those points with you guys. And we'll give that a shot again next week. So we got Larry Patrick out there. It's a name I haven't seen in a long time. Larry saying 45 for the win. So we've got a Adam Wood fan out there. We got people cheering for Cody Mitchell as usual, and Caution is out. We've got Caution. Let's see if we can find out what happened here. So it said Timothy St. Jean here in the 6. Oh yeah, just rode up. Not sure if he got tight or what, but so he's, yeah, I think that is one of those things where it looks like he's got tight on entry. just rode up the track, just carry a little bit too much speed in there. But with that, we've got guys entering pit road. Justin Anderson leading them down the pits. And it looks like the entire field is coming in, which is no surprise. We'll kick it up here to the front so we can see the battle off of pit road. Justin Anderson pulls through a stall a little bit. That might be a huge advantage for Blake Gordon there, as Justin had to back up, but still no issues. I didn't notice. I think he may have done right sides only. I was expecting everybody to take 4 tires there. But yeah, lots of guys going with a 3-tire strategy. Blake Gordon is the first guy that took 4 tires, and he will be coming out of the pits in 7th. So already we got a little bit of strategy playing out. That's a lot of fun right there. I'll be honest. I mean, usually you don't see a lot of races where guys go for 2 tires, especially not after a nearly 20-lap run. So, man, this anybody that watches one of my broadcasts knows this is one of my favorite things. I love it when guys try out different strategies. So. This is fantastic. Keep it coming, guys. This is exactly what I wanted to see. So, yeah. Justin Anderson, Adam Wood, Joe Dinsmore, Brian McFerrin, Andrew Burgess sitting in the top 5 right now. And those guys are all on 2 tires. So, we'll have to see if that hurts them too much. We'll have to see, but I think what we can do now, I'm going to take one last attempt at the points here. Take a look, because I believe as long as I pull them up right after I've refreshed them, they should be accurate. Yeah, that looks about right. Andrew Burgess moved up due to that tire strategy, so that's actually putting him in the top 6 right now. Adam Wood, Chris Bassini, Josh Laston sitting back there on the outside looking in. So I believe, though, those guys took 4 tires. Josh Laston, Bassini. Yeah. So those guys took 4 tires, so they're going to have an advantage here. And actually, where's Adam Wood at? Adam Wood's sitting in 2nd, but he was quite a ways back originally, and started in a bit of a hole, but now he's going to be restarting 2nd. So that's helping out his case quite a bit. And I think what he really needs to do now is be able to get up there and lead a lap. Perhaps his teammate will be courteous and let him lead a lap. But we'll have to see as the lights on the pace car are off. And we will be going green flag here momentarily as they are exiting 2. But yeah, fairly early in the race, bit of a shakeup in the field, and we're going to see if this is one of those situations where 2 tires, will be able to hold off the 4 tires, because there's not a whole lot of cars up there on 2 tires. And those guys with 4 tires, I'm expecting, are going to have quite a bit of pace. What these guys on 2 tires are probably hoping for is that we have a relatively short stint, long enough that everybody will come in and get tires, but not long enough that they'll, the guys on 4 tires won't have to come in. So pace car will be pulling in. Leader's choice on when to restart. Once the pace car pulls in, we'll see when Justin Anderson chooses to go, and he is off. Looks like Adam Wood, Joe Dinsmore. Looks like everyone gets a pretty solid restart there. But Adam Wood, like I said, he has to be thinking, I want to. And already, look at that. Blake Gordon already on those 4 tires, trying to make a move up high. And he's got pace right now. I mean, this is, he's already up to 2nd. So this 4-tire, 2-tire gambit was seemingly the wrong call. We'll see this time by here what the lap times were. As they update, yeah, I mean, Blake Gordon was about a half second faster than Justin Anderson, so this is going to work out very well for Blake Gordon, for Chris Bassini. You know, you would expect Chris Bassini, who's moved up to third, should get up to second here in just a little bit, as long as he doesn't burn those tires off before he gets to Justin Anderson. But it seems like 2 tires is not the right call, at least after a 19-lap stunt. Oh, we got some guys crashing. Well, we got lots of crashes. Still no caution. That's the most red I've seen on my event log without a caution in quite a while. But let's take a look, see what happened here. We're gonna go to Dan Witt, running big red there. Randy Pepper, or sorry, that's Ed Springer. Wow, oh, that is a lot of trucks. I am shocked that did not bring out a caution. You know, I know they got down off the racing surface relatively quickly, but that's genuinely remarkable. And if iRacing doesn't start throwing cautions for those sorts of things, you're going to see guys that are going to stop checking up for wrecks. And I have a hard time faulting them, because in what world would you want to check up for a wreck and then end up, you know, possibly entirely losing the field if no caution comes out? You're going to have guys pushing it. But look at this. We've got Chris Bassini. You know, these guys are on both on 4-tire strategy. But Chris Bassini trying to make the move here on our leader, Blake Gordon. And again, this is, you know, Bassini does not have a win. He's going to take the lead here. Bassini knows that, you know, winning this race guarantees him a spot in the final 6. You know, you get a win, you don't have to worry about, you know, your points, you know, any of that. You just go out there and win the race. So we'll see, you know, perhaps he's burning up his tires doing that. But right now, Chris Bassini's got a pretty good pace. And we can see already those 2 guys have pulled away quite a bit from Justin Anderson, who restarted the race in first. And Brandon Bernhardt, who also took 4 tires, has also gotten around Justin Anderson. So Justin has moved back to 4th place right now. So, yeah, the only thing I can think of is he was expecting more people to go 2 tires, and they didn't. And Josh Laston here, he's on a 4-tire strategy as well. He's going to try to get around Justin Anderson. And he's someone that also really needs these points right now. And Josh Laston is going to be able to complete this pass, I believe. He does. And with that being said, let's take one more look here at our point standings, because that should shake things up, I would expect. Yeah, currently showing Chris Bassini. If the race were in right now, he'd have 1 win. This moves Josh Laston in as well and pushes Joe Dinsmore out. Joe was one of those guys who did the 2-tire strategy, but he was further back in the field, so he is currently running in 12th right now. Joe Dinsmore running in 12th. So probably more than anybody else that did that 2-tire strategy. This is hurting him, because he was in a pretty solid place in the points, but he is currently sitting outside that top 6. So let's take a look here. How about we go back here to these guys right here? They've been side by side a little bit. Adam Wood, I mean, you know, started this race from you know, 2nd place and did the 2-tire strategy there like a lot of the SHR guys did, and struggling right now, getting passed by a ton of guys with the 4-tire strategy. Seeing, you know, John Gordon just in front of him moving up through the field, and yeah, these guys on the 2-tire strategy, they're hurting right now. And let's take a look here. Kevin Haas. He's, I believe, also on a 4-tire strategy. He is. And now he is trying to make the move on Justin Anderson, along with Blake Ziti. David Naughton not far behind, so Justin Anderson right now dropping like a rock. And while we have a moment here, I am going to kick it over for a quick commercial break. Hear a word from one of our sponsors, Guitar Addict.
For 20 years, the Guitar Addict has been your home for used and vintage guitars in the Daytona Beach area and at GuitarAddict.com. The Guitar Addict is your home for used and vintage guitars. Whether you're looking for that collector's piece or that beginner piece, they've got you covered. With names like Fender, Gibson, Gretsch, Ibanez, Martin, Taylor, and much, much more, the Guitar Addict has all the guitars you need. And bass players, they haven't forgot about you. They've got all the top names. Amplifiers from Friedman, Victoria, Fender, Boss, and many, many more. They also have the largest selection of used pedals anywhere in the Southeast. The Guitar Addict, located 1672.5 Ridgewood Avenue, just north of Flomish in Holly Hill, Florida. Also, check us out online at GuitarAddict.com.
And we are back. And really no changes up front. Chris Bassini still leading this race, followed by Blake Gordon in second, Brandon Bernhardt in third, Josh Laston in fourth, and Richard Hurst in fifth. So a bit of an unusual top five in many cases. I think, you look at Richard Hurst up 15 spots, a relative newcomer to this league. Having a great night because of that four-tire strategy, which is just been worked out really well for him. And you got guys like Justin Anderson, who seemed like he had all of the speed in the world in this race, who has fallen back to 10th as John Gordon is blinking in and out of existence right now. But John Gordon also on that four-tire strategy. He's about to try to make Justin Anderson 11th, and I think he's going to be able to do it here with not much problem. Tucking back in behind, try to get a little bit of that draft, and just going under him here. So, that does hit that apron a little bit. Good heads-up move there by Justin Anderson, seeing John Gordon rising up the track a little bit and wisely turning right a little bit and giving him some space. So, battles we've got going on track. How about Brandon Bernhardt and Josh Laston here? This is for the third position. Josh Laston trying to make a move here on Brandon Bernhardt. And this is the exact kind of race both of these guys needed. Brandon Bernhardt, again, does not need to have like a top. Brandon Bernhardt doesn't really need a top 5 more than likely. A top 10, just not having a disastrous night is going to be a good night for Brandon Bernhardt. On the other hand, Josh Laston, he needs a very strong run tonight. He probably does need that top 5, maybe even a top 3 if he wants to advance. So really things working out great for both of these guys right now. And how about this right here? Gael Brooks right now with Teddy Weichel right behind him. Currently trying to, riding right behind Andrew Burgess here. These are, I believe, all 4-tire guys. Oh, no, they're all actually 2-tire guys. So these guys are running on 2 tires. And actually, really, if I'm looking through the field right now, almost all of the 2-tire guys have fallen back. But one I want to call out that has been hanging on, Kevin Moeller. If my timing and telemetry is right, he was either a 2-tire guy or he was a no-tire guy. It's showing his pit time as 4.48. Now there's got to be something wrong there. But if he is in fact on a 2-tire strategy, then he's currently running in 6th. That'd be incredible. But I think this is a case of timing telemetry being messed up. I think he likely took 4 tires there. And speaking of Kevin Moeller, David Naughton there right behind him. They aren't far behind Blake Ziti. This is currently for positions 5th through 7th. So you got a bit of a battle here for these guys. And back here to Gael Brooks, making the move on Andrew Burgess, who just blinked out. And I'll tell you what, that's a tough situation to be in right there. I experienced that in another league I run in last night, and you know, you get in a situation, you have someone that blinks, you don't know exactly what to do because you don't know where they're going to be when they come back. So it puts you in a weird position. So hopefully that's just a temporary problem there for Andrew Burgess, and he'll be able to get that fixed up. And actually, Andrew Burgess looks to be coming into the pits. Perhaps realizes he is having issues, and you know, also may have just decided, you know, this 2-tire thing isn't working out, and just, you know, decided to short pit and go ahead and get 4 fresh tires. Justin Anderson now losing another position here to Teddy Weichel, and looks like Brian McFerrin thinking about it as well. And what's interesting is these are also 2-tire guys, so I'm not sure if Justin is just you know, maybe burned his tires off a little bit trying to hold off some of those 4-tire guys, or maybe the 2 tires just aren't suited for him. You know, for some guys it's like you want your truck to drive a certain way, and this may just not be working out for him. But certainly not the race he wanted to have, currently running in 15th. And Joe Dinsmore, another guy who, and wow, look at the tire differential there. That Andrew Burgess right there just took tires. I imagine he took 4. He did. No problems at all. Andrew Burgess, you know, he is going to be a lap down now, but he is cutting through the field in a hurry. Those fresh tires make a huge difference. And let's take a look here. Always like to try to find good battles. We don't have a ton, but how about Richard Hurst here? I feel like he's been in non-stop battles, as John Gordon here making the move on him. And I was expecting a bit of a battle there. Richard Hurst being fairly courteous. Is he coming in the pit? Nope. Just a little slow getting off the corner there. So that was for 9th position. Richard Hurst falls back to 10th. And we've got guys coming in pit road. Chris Bassini, Josh Laston, Josh Hanner also, who was running further back in the field. This almost seems like a closed-circuit racing strategy. They decided to come in together. And Richard Hurst also in now. So little strategy play here. You know, it's one of those things you short pit. You get a little bit more... It'll give you the advantage when everything cycles out. If a caution doesn't come out, it'll give you the advantage of passing people, you know, not on the track, essentially, because you're going to come out, you're going to be faster than them immediately. Josh Laston perhaps having some sort of issue, getting off pit road pretty slow there. Taking a look here, see what happened. All of his times look good, but it did look like Hanner beat him. As we've got other guys coming in the pit now too. The Endeavor guys are in. Joe Dinsmore in. I'm genuinely surprised that Justin Anderson didn't come in as well. You know, this cycles him back to 5th, but perhaps he's trying to, you know, not feed into my joke of him being the guy that short pits. So just staying out a little bit longer to prove me wrong. But hey, I'm definitely of the belief that, you know, if somebody does one strategy, you got to try something different. And at this point, you know, I'd stay out for a few laps. I'm in no hurry to get on the pit road now, because you were already near the back of the field and they short pitted on you. So, what's the worst that's gonna happen? You're gonna lose some more positions. Like, you already have a win. Doesn't matter. So, once all these guys cycle through, I'm going to pull our points back up and take a look, see where things are standing. But right now, a lot of strategy at play, which is a lot of fun. And we've got Teddy Weichel in. So take a look here at Chris Bassini, who's now cycled out to 2nd place. He's about 2 seconds ahead of Blake Gordon. And we'll have to see if You would expect Blake Gordon to be able to narrow that gap a little bit due to the fact he has 1 lap fresher tires. Not a huge difference, but Pasini currently about 10.5 seconds back from Justin Anderson. But that gap is closing in a hurry. So we'll, that's not one we want. Let's time deltas. How about that? There we go. And we'll actually switch. Oh, Justin Anderson's in, so I don't even get to pull out my fancy time deltas. So Justin Anderson is in now, and once he comes out of the pits, I'll pull up our points here and see what we're looking at. As Justin Anderson has a lot of damage. I don't know what happened. He actually towed to the pits. Let's see what happened. So Justin Anderson here, running the bottom. Oh, he was trying to come in onto the pits, and just hit the barrels and then got stuck. That's embarrassing, but I can't say that I've never done it. So that's a rough time right there. As he's still going to be sitting on pit road for quite a while, and that's going to bring Chris Pasini back up to our lead, who now has a 5.5 second gap over Blake Gordon. I have to imagine Blake is trying something strategy-wise. He's conserving tires. Actually, you know what? I'm looking at it now. Blake Gordon only did 2 tires on that stop. So that's our difference. Blake Gordon did 2 tires. Chris Pasini did 4. Chris Pasini's just absolutely pulling away from Blake Gordon right now. And I'm honestly a bit shocked that anybody did 2 tires at this point after the 2-tire strategy clearly did not work last time. But here we are. Let's take a look at the points as they are running. And again, these are unofficial. You guys have seen the issues I've had with them tonight. So as before, Chris Pasini would punch his way to the next round with a win if the race were to finish right now. Brandon Bernhardt, Brian McFerrin, Josh Laston all in. And Josh Laston has a bit of a cushion there from Joe Dinsmore now. This is now a 14-point lead over Joe Dinsmore, who was someone he was battling with, only 3 points ahead of Andrew Burgess now. So if this race continues to play out the way that it has, this is playing right into the hands of Chris Pasini, Josh Laston. And as I mentioned before, Brandon Bernhardt, Brian McFerrin is in pretty good shape too. And look, Andrew Burgess wasn't in a great position in points, and he's positioned himself on being 1 outside the bubble. He doesn't need a whole lot to change in order to, potentially move up into this top 6. But the biggest issue Andrew Burgess has right now is that he needs 3 points, and he's running in 4th. So he doesn't have a whole lot of guys he can try to pass, to try to get himself in. I was talking about the 4-tire versus 2-tire strategy. Josh Laston just gets around Blake Gordon, so that's going to move Josh Laston up to 2nd. And when our points refresh here, let's see if we can get him to refresh. Josh Laston now a 4-point gap, so every little bit's going to count here. So that's a really big deal there for Josh Laston. Let's take a look here as we've got Kevin Moeller now working on Andrew Burgess. That is basically the opposite of what Andrew wanted, right? He needed to be able to, gain points, and he's under attack right here from Kevin Moeller, and likely, looking at what I'm seeing on track right now, it's going to lose his position unless something changes. And how about Blake Ziti here, currently going under David Naughton, and Kyle Brooks there actually just snuck in, and he's going to take that spot. So Kyle Brooks right there, and Kyle Brooks is one of those guys on a 4-tire strategy. Those other guys were on 2, so those guys on 2 tires battling, and Kyle's like, you know what, I've got 4 tires, I don't have time for this, and he just went right around them, no issues. Those 4 tires have to be the storyline so far tonight. David Naughton and Blake Zede still going at it. And this is for the 9th and 10th position. Let's take a look here, see what else we got going on track. That's the closest battle right now. See if we can get a better look at this. Yeah, no one really around Justin Rodden here, but how about Josh Laston up here? I want to take a look here at his roll bar and see if he's able to see. Let's actually switch to our cockpit camera. Yeah, so you can see that little dot in the distance. That is his teammate, Chris Bassini. You know, Josh Laston doesn't seem like he is going to be contending for a win here. But you know, certainly having and actually, no, that's not even his teammate directly in front of him. That is a lap car. Where is Chris Bassini? He is. Oh wow, he is 11 seconds ahead of Josh Laston. So Chris Bassini not having any issues tonight. So let's take a look at Blake Gordon. Well, there's a view where we can see another car. You can see Josh Laston's car in the distance there. Probably the only time I will ever say that Blake Gordon is looking at Josh Laston in the distance and getting passed by Kevin Moeller here. Blake Gordon obviously fighting with his car, using really good racecraft to keep himself, keep those guys separated and keep us running under green. And let's take a look here. Kevin Haas. Yeah, how about this battle right here? We've got, not a battle for position. Ed Springer currently down a lap, running in 23rd, but goes around Kevin Haas without much issue, currently on fresher tires. And Andrew Burgess there, Ed Springer going around him as well, and probably going to pass Blake Gordon as well. So Blake Gordon right now, much like we saw Justin Anderson on that first stint with the 2 tires, is getting eaten alive right now due to those 2 tires. So, the only thing I can think of is he expected more people to go 2-tire and just wanted to get out and get the advantage on pit road, because passing can be a little difficult here. But the speed differential is so great. So I honestly, I'm surprised that Endeavor did this 2-tire strategy because after what happened to Steel Horse when they did it. So, and actually, hey, look at this. Blake Gordon coming in the pits. He's going to try to get some fresh tires here. I imagine he's going to go 4 tires this time. And his teammates, Brandon Bernhardt, Blake Zede, also in with him, and Andrew Burgess right behind him. So a little bit of strategy call here. If I'm Chris Bassini, Josh Laston, I'm going to stay out for a little while, because, especially if I'm Chris Bassini, because I had quite a gap over Blake Gordon. There's really no hurry to get in the pits at this point. Stay out there a little bit longer. Don't risk letting let a caution screw up your race. Run some laps, and once you've run a few laps, you can come in pit. And even if you did end up losing the position of Blake Gordon due to him short pitting, you're still going to be in good shape with the fresher tires. And I'm going to pull up pit strategy here. Take a look at this, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, a stint here is about 30 to 35 laps. Probably close to 35. So these guys that pitted, the Endeavor guys, Blake Gordon and Blake Zede, Brandon Bernhardt, Justin Anderson didn't pit. He just had forever to repair damage. They should be able to make it on fuel, but it is going to be real tight based on the stints I looked at. But as we can see here, Bassini and Laston, Moeller, Haas, Brooks, these guys are okay in terms of staying out a little bit longer. There's no rush. And we have to consider, if a green-white checkered happens, those guys that pitted are potentially going to be in some trouble. But I do want to talk about lap times. The differential that tires make. So Chris Bassini ran a 35.09 last lap. Blake Gordon ran a 33.5. So that is a 1.5 second difference with those fresh tires, of which Blake Gordon did take 4. And Andrew Burgess as well. Andrew Burgess is right there with a 33.52. So, you know, that was a sizable gap that Chris Bassini had, but that gap is going to shrink in a hurry. And the guy I think is going to be feeling the pressure immediately is Josh Laston, who did not have nearly the gap over Blake Gordon that Chris Bassini did. Still, though, if I were them, I'm staying out a little bit longer. There is no rush because, you know, even if they get around you, you come in and pit, you're going to have significantly faster, better tires. So at this point, I would stay the course and not really change up your strategy. And we got David Naughton on pit road. He's coming off here. But it does look like, for the most part, we've kind of got two camps of strategy. The guys who short pitted versus the guys who are going to stay out a little bit longer. Richard Hurst coming in as well. We saw him running up front earlier. A good pit strategy here could work him right back up to the front. But again, I mean, what else can we say about Chris Bassini? I mean, he's putting on a clinic so far, has made all of the right strategy calls, has a 12-second gap, over his teammate, Josh Laston. The first car that is not a teammate is Kevin Moeller's 17. Oh, and he's coming in. I would expect Josh Laston to come in this time as well, and I'm going to focus on Josh because, we're going to find out right now if the commentator's curse is real or not with Josh Laston's issues. Josh Laston not coming in. I think Josh Laston's taking those bonus points for a lap led. I think is the exact strategy he's going for at this point. I would expect him to come in this time by, but he did get those 2 bonus points by leading a lap, which is absolutely the right call there when you have these guys that are so close right now. Go out there, get your 2 bonus points, because nobody can take those away from you once you got them. And, hey, he's actually staying out a little bit longer. I'm not sure if maybe he didn't realize that he had led that lap. And was just kind of, making sure because of, with pit road and all of that. So, or it could just be that he's trying something different, That might be the only way, he thinks makes sense to, to try to go win this race. So, we see right there Blake Gordon, who was a lap down, no longer a lap down, and Josh coming in right now. See if he can get a good pit here. He doesn't need a great pit. He just needs a knot speed. Ooh, gets it a little loose right there, but I think that's going to be okay. We'll have to take a look once, make sure he doesn't have any issues after that. But he did get his 2 bonus points, and Gael Brooks cycles out to the lead. Gael up 23 spots since the start of the race. Getting his bonus points. It doesn't matter a lot for him. He isn't in the playoffs and joined the league late, so isn't really in championship contention or even contention in any of the standings really at all. But hey, go out there, lead you a lap, get your sponsors some camera time, and nothing wrong with that. As we see Brandon Bernhardt right there getting his lap back. And going to take a look here. I want to take a look. We were talking so much about pit cycles and all of that. And, talking about Blake Gordon, who pitted at lap 61 versus Josh Laston, and actually Andrew Burgess as well. Andrew Burgess and at lap 61 as well. Josh Laston pitted at lap 70, and that's how far the gap is now. You would expect that Josh Laston is going to be faster than these guys with the fresher tires. We'll have to wait for a full lap to see. It certainly looks like he's gaining on them, but whether or not he'll have enough time We've got 27 laps remaining at this point. Assuming we don't have a green-white checkered, I think he's going to be in good shape. But Chris Bassini's the guy we got to talk about. And look, this is coming out of nowhere because all that pit cycling happened. I didn't even notice this, but Adam Wood up here running in third, which is because he hasn't pitted yet. But, got caught up with some bad pit strategy, and from there, his race just went very poorly as he's coming in now. No surprise there. Brian McFerrin also in. So Chris Bassini is our new leader. Currently has about a 7-second lead over Teddy Weichel, who is not pitted, and about a 10-second lead over Blake Gordon, who he has fresher tires than. You see Joe Dinsmore there. How's Joe doing here? Joe Dinsmore is running in 19th. Has not pitted yet either, so he is pitting here. Rough night for Joe Dinsmore. Could have serious championship implications for him. So we'll focus here on Chris Bassini again. And actually, I'm going to, once Teddy Weichel, he's got on pit road here. I'm going to take a look at Josh Laston because I want to take a look at this gap between him and the 77 of Andrew Burgess. And let's actually take a look at his cockpit camera. Andrew Burgess is right there. We can see him. He's that yellow truck, and I believe, the one directly in front of him is Blake Gordon. So that's the advantage that the earlier pit got them. But Josh Laston is about a half-second faster than Blake Gordon right now. So as long as Josh isn't out there burning up his tires, this is probably going to work out okay for him if he can get around them without much trouble. So things looking up for the guy who was on the outside looking in with points. We'll switch over here to let's take a look. How about Kyle Brooks, who has pitted now and has Blake Ziti directly in front of him. Blake Ziti also pitted, but he pitted 11 laps before Gael. So Gael's having no issues with Blake Ziti right now. 10-lap difference at a track like this. It's a huge difference. Makes a really big difference, and we're seeing it on track right there. I mean, already he's just switch our gearbox camera here, just pulling away. Blake Ziti got the advantage by pitting earlier. That's how he was able to get in front of Gael. But now this is where the fresh tires come into play. Chris Bassini on the pit road. I am not sure what happened there. I am not sure why he has come into the pits. I am wondering if perhaps it didn't fuel him up all the way. And Josh Laston in as well. I am not sure what is going on right now, unless my fuel calculations were a little off. And, this might be a situation where they're just, doing a splash and go. But although at this point I would expect, if you're going this early, I would take tires as well. It looks like just a splash and go for Josh Laston. Same with Chris Bassini. So that's interesting. That means then that the fuel strategy is a little bit less than I expected. And we're going to pull up pit strategy here. So it actually, I was thinking it was about 30 laps, but it might be closer to 25 based on, 25, 26, maybe 27 based on what I'm seeing here. So those guys realized they weren't going to make it on fuel, went ahead and came in and got topped off on fuel. I'm curious why they did it now versus later. Potentially going to ask them after the races. Andrew Burgess comes in as well. So lots of guys opting to go ahead and take that fuel now versus waiting for later. I'm actually not sure why they did that. Perhaps someone in the comments might have some insight as to why you would why would you take the splash of fuel there now versus later? We saw a lot of guys do it, and I'm just curious why. I genuinely don't know, and I'm assuming there's some sort of strategy there for it. If nobody knows, I'll be sure to ask these guys post-race. But that puts Blake Gordon in the lead. But if everything I'm reading is correct, he's going to be pushing on fuel now. This entire thing's puzzling for me. You know, he had a 16-lap stint earlier, and now he's on lap 19. If we are talking about a 25, yep, Blake Gordon's coming in as well. So we'll have to see, is Blake Gordon going to take tires, or is he just going to do a splash of fuel? Because I believe the others just did a splash of fuel. It's possible they took right sides, but I didn't see the trucks go in the air. We'll see here. So he's in. Truck's not. Oh, truck is going up. Taking right sides. He's going to take those left sides. Left sides as well. So Blake Gordon with 4 tires, which, look, I think it's the right call. I mean, I absolutely think that's the right call. We've seen what those tires can do. I think a 4-tire stop, if I'm coming into the pits, I'm taking 4 tires. Unless we've got 3 laps to go, I'm taking 4 tires. So, you know, that Chris Bassini and Josh Laston, you know, they presumably did a splash and go or just right sides only. They are well ahead of Blake Gordon now, but, you know, I would imagine Blake Gordon's going to chip away at that lead very quickly. So, well, Larry Patrick said undercoat with fresher tires, but they didn't take tires. That's what's amazing about it. Unless they did right sides only, and I didn't notice it. And if somebody, when I was focused on them, picked up on it, let me know. But, I mean, based on the times I'm seeing, like, you know, Chris Bassini had a 5.8. I don't think that's enough time for right side tires. Usually that's about a 7-second stop. You know, so looking at it that way, it feels like they only did a splash and go. So, and I'm looking at lap times here. Blake Gordon just ran the fastest lap of the race, and he was a full second faster than Chris Bassini, who is 8.5 seconds ahead of him. So in 8 laps, assuming that, you know, nothing else changes, Blake Gordon's going to make a pass, presumably for the win when this all cycles out. You know, the guy I'm looking at right now is Kyle Brooks. He didn't pit until lap 72. So if we pull up pit strategy, you know, he's stretched it as long as 28 laps. Now that was with a caution. But if he's saving, it would get him very close to the end of the race. I don't know if he could save that much without a caution coming out, but he would be closer than anyone else could be at this point. You know, that hasn't pitted. So someone to keep an eye on right there, Kyle Brooks. How about Kevin Moeller, though? I haven't even had a chance to focus on him. The pit strategy was so intriguing. Kevin Moeller leading this race right now. You know, he pitted at lap 70 along with Kevin Haas, who's running second, also at lap 70. So these guys have strategy working for them right now, and you know, we're gonna, just because I want to keep tabs with it here, we're gonna pull up the live point standings and see where things are as we stand. Which, you know, I would expect things are going to change a bit. But right now, you know, none of the playoff contenders are in the lead. So right now they would not get the guaranteed advancement. But Josh Laston sitting there 6 points above the cut line, ahead of Andrew Burgess, who, you know, has moved up quite a bit. But Joe Dinsmore is fighting back as well. You know, Joe, you know, fell back pretty far, and he's still tight there as well. I mean, this is not out of the question for Joe Dinsmore or Adam Wood. You know, this thing's still wide open. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But right now, you know, going back and looking, I want to take a look at Chris Bassini again, because, again, after everything cycles out, you would expect Chris Bassini to be the leader. Blake Gordon is, and actually I think I might have my interval wrong earlier. Blake Gordon is 17 seconds back from Chris Bassini. So that changes things a little bit. Blake Gordon's 17 seconds back from Chris Piscini, and Piscini is running about 1 second per lap slower than Blake Gordon. I'm no math wizard, but I don't think Blake Gordon's going to have enough time to catch him. Now, that's assuming we don't have a caution come out. Caution comes out and things could get crazy. But right now, I would say, it seems like Chris Piscini is in a pretty good spot. But Blake Gordon isn't in a bad spot either. Josh Laston, he is probably going to get passed by Blake Gordon here very shortly, as we see Blake Gordon right there. Blake is quickly cutting into that lead that Josh Laston had, which is no surprise because it's the difference of fresh tires versus not. So Larry Patrick added in. He should actually be here commentating tonight. You force the others to take tires and make their stop longer. I think that's potentially exactly what the strategy could be. Is you go ahead and come in and do a short splash and go. They're thinking, well, I've got to do the opposite strategy. So they come in and take 4 tires and try to make it up on track. So, yeah, that's not a bad theory. We may get an opportunity to ask Blake Gordon here when this thing ends. Right now, the guy up front, Kevin Moeller, followed by Gael Brooks and Kevin Haas. These guys are up 13, 22, and 14 spots since the beginning of the race. So, heck of a run for these guys. Really nothing negative you can say about it. I mean, this is what I love to see. Different guys running up front and lots of green flag racing. So, really good stuff right here. Well, let's take a look here. We got Chris Piscini gaining on Kevin Haas right now. That is for third position. Yeah, he's gaining on him a little bit. He's gaining on him in the corners mostly. On the straightaways, looks like Kevin's pulling away a little bit, perhaps. But yeah, Piscini's gaining at a pretty good clip right now. So Piscini here battling for third position. But again, presumably, when all this cycles out, you have to think this is probably him in the lead right now. If these guys up front have to pit, which they should. And then the battle is just between him and Blake Gordon. Blake Gordon is now 14 seconds back from Chris Piscini. He did make up some of that gap. But we've got 6 laps to go. And you aren't going to make up a 14-second gap in 6 laps. So at this point, Blake's going to need one of those patented Blake cautions if he wants to win this race, which, knowing Blake, he definitely wants to win this race. And I honestly can't think of any scenario he'd be more upset over losing a race than losing on pit strategy, because I think pit strategy infuriates him. So, and Kevin Moeller, our leader, is in. Kevin Moeller coming into the pits, which is going to push Gael Brooks to the lead again. So this is the wild card right now, because Kevin Haas is coming in as well. This is the wild card. I was thinking perhaps Gael might be able to save enough fuel, but the biggest issue he has right now is that Chris Piscini is 2 seconds behind him. So he's not going to be able to save a whole lot, as Chris Piscini is going to be to him in a hurry. And looking at lap times, it doesn't look like he's saving much, if at all. So either he has saved much earlier and doesn't need to save now, or he is going to have to come in the pit very soon. But, I think if he stays out this lap, I honestly think if he stays out this lap, I think he's going to run it dry, whether or not he has enough fuel to make it or not. Might be one of those situations where he's just going to go for it. Because he's actually pulling away from Chris Piscini a little bit right now. Chris might just be taking it easy, trying to ensure himself a potential win here. Gael's not coming in. This is a bit of a wild strategy. I was not expecting this. Someone going for a fuel mileage win, and You know, Kyle, I've run Indy cars with him. I'm sure he is very familiar with the fact that these trucks don't have a fuel map setting on them, so he can't change the setting to try to save fuel. You got to save fuel by lifting and lifting early and coasting a lot. And man, if he is able to save enough, that would be a huge storyline, something that we did not expect to happen. We're 2 to go right here. I'm gonna pull up the pit strategy here. Gael did do a 28 lap run earlier, but some of that was caution laps. So, and we saw Brian McFerrin and Adam Wood did a 27 lap run. I believe that was all under green. So 27 laps is possible. Oh man, we're gonna see if he can do it. And the biggest thing I do hope is that if he does run out of fuel, that he does not cause any issues for the rest of the field. This white flag is out. He has almost a 2-second lead over Chris Bassini. We're gonna see if he can pull it off. This is an incredible storyline. Up 23 spots since the start of the race. All of the playoff contenders were focused on each other, and Gael Brooks might steal one here. That would, looks like he might be sputtering a little bit. I think Gael Brooks is out of fuel. And he crosses the line. Gael Brooks wins this race. Wow, isn't that something, folks? Let's rewind one time and take a look at the checkered flag here. One more time, because I want to watch Chris Bassini as he's coming in here. We're going to go slow motion, see how close this thing was, because it was close. Wow, that is something. Gael Brooks steals one in the AOLL Sportsman Series. Unbelievable. What a great strategy as he's getting pushed around here by the 0-1. Man, that's really good stuff right there. I love seeing it. So we're going to pull up our results here real quick. Gael Brooks is our winner, followed second by Chris Bassini, and third is Blake Gordon. Andrew Burgess is in fourth. Fifth, Josh Laston. Sixth, Brian McFerrin. Seventh, Kevin Moeller, and in eighth, Brandon Bernhardt. Ninth is Teddy Weichel, and in 10th, Blake Zede. 11th is Kevin Haas, and in 12th, Adam Wood. 13th, David Naughton, and in 14th, Justin Rodden. 15th is Joshua Hanner, and in 16th, Justin Anderson. 17th is Mike Burgess, and in 18th, Timothy St. Jean. 19th, we have Joe Dinsmore, and in 20th, Richard Hurst. 21st is John Gordon, and in 22nd, Ed Springer. 23rd, Dan Witt, and in 24th, Randy Pepper. 25th is Cody Mitchell, and in 26th, Marshall Hall. And in 27th, we have Ross Gage. As we saw back there, Gael doing his best to try to do a burnout, and Justin Rodden came over there and did a burnout for him. Let's see. Yes, we got Gael Brooks here. Let's pull him up for an interview here. Well, if I can, let's try it. Hey, Gael, it's Carl up in the booth. Get a copy? Wow, that was crazy and unexpected. First of all, congratulations for your first win in the AOLL. How does it feel? So one thing I want to ask you is, I was, we're talking about fuel mileage. We had seen, in an earlier stint, you had done 26 laps, but some of that was under caution. I had seen someone else, I think Brian McFerrin did 27 at one point, but you went 28 laps on that stunt. But at the same time, you weren't really losing time to Chris Bassini until you ran out of fuel there at the end. Did you really conserve earlier in the run, or was Chris Piscini just falling off as well? So I'm going to assume that your in-car fuel mileage was showing that you were going to be short. Was there a certain point where you kind of you were keeping an eye on it, and then you were just like, you know what, I'm just going to ride it dry, even if it means I run out of fuel? Hey, hang on just a second. I apologize. For some reason, apparently Discord audio is not working, even though it's telling me that it is. I apologize for that. I am honestly not sure, because it's showing the meter in OBS, showing that you're talking. Let me try turning the device off and turning it back on.
That's the IT 101.
Hey, can you say something for me real quick? Now it's not showing at all. So, we're having some weird audio issues here. That's, unexpected. I apologize for that, folks. I haven't run into that one before. Let's see here. How about this? All right, try saying something for me again.
All right, let me know if it picks
all
up
right.
this one.
This one's at least showing the meter again. It was not showing the meter before, so... folks on Facebook, YouTube, all that, let me know if you can or cannot hear him. But so I apologize for missing part of the interview there. They say they got you now. What we were going over there was talking about your fuel strategy and the fact that you kind of just give us a real quick summary again what we were talking about there.
So basically, obviously that first caution came out just before the pit stop cycle, kind of under scheduled distance. So myself and my teammates, we decided fuel only, save the tires just in case of those late yellows, which hats off to everybody else for going green all the way to the end. But then we decided, well, since we have the slower tires now, let's save, because we're right on the edge of that eliminating a pit stop. And so, when we went save, and I didn't do a good job saving those first two runs. Obviously, I was just able to get it here. But yeah, leaving the pit stop on that last stop, I pretty much had it set in my head. I'm going to run it to the end, whether I run out at half a lap to go or like running out of 4. Ideally, I would have made it to the line before I sputtered. But yeah, I was in it to the end. I was just going to stay full commit. And yeah, I mean, I was even clutching literally out of the pit stall after my pit stop. I was starting to clutch it just to save any little drop I could. And then, yeah, I'd say we were talking about the interval with Piscini, and I think I must have had better tires than him, because I was noticing my intervals were actually holding pretty steady with him, even when I was clutching it. So I think the fresh tires were kind of helping the turns out to keep that interval up. But I was just a little too aggressive on the saving. Like I said, I wanted to make it to the flag without risking it, but yeah, I was getting really nervous there out of four when I felt the sputters, and I was just keeping it to the floor, hoping to just pick up just enough to make it there.
Hey, that was a pretty good summer. You should consider going into broadcasting.
I should, but I say I like my co-announcers better. I know you're very familiar with Steve Gottschalk on the Sunday series. I say if I could hire him to do everything, I think that's where I'd rather go.
So great run for you tonight. I am legit. One more thing I wanted to ask you is about that burnout. So that had great win, but that had to be the worst burnout in the history of the AOLL because you're being out of fuel. So how do you feel about having that record now?
I'm a little bummed by us. I say if you want to refocus the attention to the 01 truck of Justin Rada, and say one of my Steel Horse teammates, he offered to do a burnout in my honor. So I say, yeah, you have at that one for me. Since I can't, you do it for me. So I'll say the 01 burnout was equivalent of the 76 burnout. So I say appreciate Justin pushing me to the flag here, and then of course to do a little burnout for me, because this thing's, I tried it, it's bone dry.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, man, it was great talking with you tonight. I'm sure we'll be talking to you again in the future.
Sounds good, Carl. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's going to take a little while for us to sink in.
Awesome. Thanks, Gael. And that was Gael Brooks. How about we bring up our second place, Mr. Chris Pacini. Hey, Pacini, it's Carl in the booth. Get a copy?
Yes, I do.
Hey, man, you finished second. It was a great race from you. Looked like you made basically all the right calls. You just got, Gael had a great fuel strategy there. But tell us about your race.
Yeah, I don't wanna. Funny enough, I actually won a race like this in a modified league I used to run, where I was out of fuel coming out of 4, and I won by a half a second, almost at a dead crawl. But that's another day. Yeah, he had a good strategy. I was watching him. He was keeping pace, and I'm like, he's the last guy that has to pit. I'm like, I don't know if he's gonna make it, but I'm like, damn it, if he does, like, I gotta retool what I do as a pick chief, like a crew chief. Like, what the hell? Where did my math go? And sure enough, he sputtered out of 4. But I saw him slowing down. I got so excited, but then I realized where the start finish was.
Yeah,
he got it.
Yeah,
it's awesome to have it like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was sitting up here in the booth, and I was saying, as they were, starting the pit, and even actually before that, I was sitting there, I was like, well, we need to keep an eye on him. He might be able to make it, but no, I don't think he'll do it. So
I was trying to look back and see what lap he pit, and I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, there's no friggin' way he can. Like, it's impossible.
So talking about your race, especially you and Blake Gordon were right there with each other all night. You had worked up quite a lead because of when you took tires versus when he took tires, and look, we were looking at it and what we thought was going to be the race for the win, and he was gaining on you, but he there's no way he's going to make up the time and the amount of laps left. So tell us a little bit about your strategy, because I know that you're very much a thinker when it comes to racing. Like, what you were thinking throughout the race when you chose to take tires, when you didn't.
Basically what happened was, when I took tires on that first stop with the yellow, I was watching my split times with Blake, because did he take 2 on that? Because he was faster than everybody else behind him.
You talking on the last stop?
The first stop, that yellow.
The first stop, I think he did take 2 tires. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I was watching him pull away from the guys behind him, and I'm like, all right, yeah, he's quicker. So I'm like, I don't think that would be no tires. But I was watching towards the end of the first fuel run, and we were pretty much almost even again on lap times. So I knew.
Oh, and actually, I just got told he was actually no tires on the first stop. So.
Yeah, he's lying.
So honestly, I wasn't aware of the 3-set limit. It's a little bit lower than they normally run, so I wasn't even really thinking that a no tire strategy was ever going to happen. But I mean, obviously, we saw at the end there you had to go no tires.
Well, I wanted to take my final fuel fill on somewhat fresh tires, so I could just get in, take my 3 gallons, get out, and still have enough tread on my tires to pretty much speed up on the apron without losing too much time and giving him a chance to cool off to give me another good lap or two. But it's unfortunate. I like when strategy comes into play, but it's bad at the same time when it kind of hurts the racing because everybody's trying to either save fuel or not race each other or do tires on this stop or run out here. It kind of takes away from the racing a little bit. I kind of wish we had a little more fuel so everybody could just get out there and start ripping it and just racing each other and trying to go for a win instead of sputting to the line like Gale did. But
well, hey, look, as a broadcaster, I was just extremely happy that I didn't have to pull Blake, Justin, or you up first. It's good to have some guys other than you guys getting wins in the series. But hey, the points are updated. You're sitting in 5th going into the next round. And let me make sure that's true. Hold on. Yeah, 5th here. We know that you had to work to get in tonight. You were a little bit outside of the points. How do you feel about getting into the final round here, the top 6?
It feels good considering that I'm one of these things that's not like the other one of these things that doesn't belong because I only was here for about a half a season, so I'm kind of on borrowed time. I thought I wouldn't have been in the playoffs anyway, but I just kind of came in trying to collect bonus points so I can close that gap to Dinsmore because I know he's usually fast. So if I could have collected enough bonus points, I would have closed the gap on there and just raced them heads up for the final spot between him and Josh. But
yeah, well, hey, things are looking up for you right now, and I know I think we've got a road course here in the final.
I'm licking my chops.
Yeah, Daytona road course. So
I like it, but I hate it at the same time.
Well, that's how I feel about every road course, but more on the hate side. So. Hey, great run tonight, man. I have a feeling we'll be talking to you again before this thing's over. So good luck for the rest of the season.
All right, thanks, Carl.
And that was Chris Bassini, and we'll go ahead and pull up Blake Gordon. Why not? I don't get to talk to him very often. Hey, Blake, it's Carl in the booth. Got a copy?
Yep, what's going on, man?
Well, first of all, I want to address your comment about 3 sets of what we've run all year. Yes, but I've never really had to pay attention to it because normally we don't have to make this many stops.
Well, yeah, I mean, let me be careful here. I think it's a little stupid that we have 3 sets when we need 4 fuel stops in a race.
Yeah.
But, that's how it is. Instead of giving us a full tank of gas and letting the strategy work out that way where tire saving actually matters, we do it this way, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, I mean, just looking at it from a broadcaster perspective, it was an entertaining race. I mean,
how were you keeping track of everything? There was 4 different strategies going on.
Yeah, I wasn't. It was because my timing software doesn't show whether or not you guys took tires, whether or not you did fuel only.
Yeah, I heard you guys saying you thought I took 2 on the first stop. I took 4.
Yeah, Why? Are you sure about that? I could have. Oh no! It was the first stop. The Steel Horse guys did no tires on the first stop.
Yeah. We took 4.
You did no tires on the second stop, right, or the third stop?
Correct. The second stop was no tires, and then
Yep. So, so let's talk about your race, some man. I mean, it was it was looking like it was going to be you and Justin Anderson all night, early on, but Justin got bit by some fuel strategy and then had some issues getting on.
Wall, apparently.
Yeah, well, the barrels especially, and got stuck in them. That was
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna make a GIF of that and just repeatedly post it on our
GIF,
Facebook page. a GIF.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
J-
I'm kidding.
Jif is a kind of peanut butter.
Kidding.
So I tell me about your race, man. I mean, like, what were you thinking in terms of strategy?
No, we were just guessing. I mean, we didn't really know what to do, man. The first run was pretty fun, hanging with Justin at Homestead, and admittedly not my best track at all, so it was nice to be able to stick on his bumper. And then from there, it was like, yeah, if we don't get any yellow flags, which I get, you can make a strong case that there should have been, but we're not throwing yellow flags for things that should be wrecks anymore, so there wasn't one. I don't know how much that would have changed things, but yeah, we were just guessing. We were just like, what do we do? How do we put ourselves in a good spot? And we kind of settled into this strategy where it's like, okay, let's double stint the second set of tires, hit on lap 60, then on lap 80, we might have enough laps to get to the end. So I think taking tires there at the end might have not been the best option. I think if I came out with the tires I had, I might have come out closer to Passini and been able to, put some pressure on him and Gael there for the win. But to finish third, just completely making up a strategy as we go, like, I'll take it, especially, last round of the, second to last round of the playoffs here. So.
Yeah, well, and, by Gael winning, I mean, essentially he's taking those bonus points off the table for the next round. So nobody's going to have them. That's not really a win for you, but it's not a loss either. Nobody else is going to have those points. But I want to talk about that last round. So we got North Wilkesboro. I feel like you should probably do pretty well there.
If I was going to be there.
Oh, that's the one you're going to miss?
Yep.
Oh, man, that's...
Yeah, I don't want to do any more complaining here, but yeah, this format really sucks if you have to miss a race late in the season.
Well, I have to say, I mean, this format is a lot better than what NASCAR does. And
I like the final 3 rounds, but the first half of the season you can miss a week here and there, no problem. God forbid you have anything important going on in October and November.
Right.
You're kind of shit out of luck. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at it from purely a broadcasting perspective. I love it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Otherwise,
yeah, I mean, it is exciting, but at the same time, it's like, again, it does kind of,
I understand.
It's frustrating missing a race and being out of it just because I have to miss one race now as compared to week 5 of the season.
Right. It's one of those things. Like, it's one thing in professional sports, but
yeah, like, that's their job.
Yeah.
This is our hobby.
I understand what you're saying. I'm happy for it, but I wouldn't say no to some adjustments to it as well. That's I get where you're coming from, especially after the dominant season you've had. But hey, I mean, you've still got to look. I mean, you're still going to look pretty strong here. I mean, I think Daytona Road Course you should be really strong at.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, I can do good there. I mean, it is a road course. I was I missed the Cup race, this season. I had to sit that one out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, hopefully we can have a good run there, get some points, and then, I don't know, we have a 9-point gap to Justin, so, and then, looks like, hang on, let's see, chase start. Hang on. Yeah, 9 points to Justin, and then, a couple 1-point, 9-point gaps from there. So, I mean, it's going to be rough. I don't really know how it's going to play out, but, yeah, just going to show up to Daytona Road, go try to win it, and then go try to win the last race too and see what happens. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we'll be there. Maybe the other guys will have some bad luck.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. So, hey, we'll see you then, man. Like you said, I guess we'll miss you next week. But after that, we'll see you again on November 10th for the Daytona Road Course. So
yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah. So I don't mean to sound so down about finishing third. I don't like this type of racing at all. I would rather just go have a dogfight instead of this chess match.
I said in the broadcast when all of this was going down that there was nothing you hated more than a
manufactured
strategy. Well,
strategy race.
Yeah, at the very least a strategy race, but maybe we'll leave the manufactured strategy wording to you. But
I still have a bone to pick with Josh because he's the one who took away our unlimited tires by having to say something about it. So I'm still not, letting him forget that one.
Yeah, that's fair. But hey, man, good run tonight. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks, Carl. Thanks again for doing the broadcast. And yeah, hopefully I chat with you. I don't know.
Maybe Sunday.
I might be running tomorrow night. I guess we'll see.
Well, you probably won't be chatting with me because we probably won't see each other at all on the track. So.
Well, I mean, you never know. I might be there.
All right. Thanks, Blake.
Yep, no problem, man. Have a good night. See you.
All right. With that, I want to run through who has advanced and who was eliminated here in the playoffs. So as Blake mentioned, Blake is advancing. Justin Anderson, Brian McFerrin, Brandon Bernhardt, Chris Passini, and Josh Laston. That means that people eliminated this round are Andrew Burgess, Joe Dinsmore, Adam Wood, Mike Burgess, Daniel Shirley, and William Klingbaum. So that will do it for our broadcast tonight. As Blake mentioned, we have a TNT race tomorrow night at 8 p.m. TNT Series will be running at Southern National. So be sure to tune in for that. Should be a good time. Until then, from myself and the entire Ghostfire Media crew, so long and have a good night.